In the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, the 9th law is the law of magnetism. And the law of magnetism says who you are is who you attract. Let's do an exercise. Since this is a training in leadership type of an exercise, I realize that maybe we'll even want to turn off the tape for a few minutes and do this on your own before you proceed. But let's do an exercise. What I want you to do is I want you to write down the top 3 qualities in people that you would like to attract to your organization. Now, as you write down the top 3 qualities of people that you would like to attract, I'm going to just take a time out for a second and let you do that. In a moment, I'm going to come back and I'm going to let you look at those 3 qualities, and I want to do my teaching from what you put on paper. Now that you're back, let's look at those 3 qualities that you have placed on the piece of paper. I want you to look at them because whatever 3 qualities that you have placed on your paper, what I want you to understand is this. You won't attract people because these are 3 qualities of people that you want to attract. You will only attract people of these qualities if you possess these qualities yourself. For example, on my piece of paper, I said if I'm going to bring people around me, I want to bring people that have leadership abilities, I want to bring people that have integrity, and I want to bring people that have a great attitude. Now, those are 3 important things to me. Integrity, attitude, leadership abilities. Those are the kind of people I want to attract. Now that I put my list down of the 3 qualities of people I want to attract, the question I've got to ask myself is not where are those people? The question I've got to ask myself is, do I possess those qualities? Because if I possess those qualities, if I'm a good leader, if I have a great attitude, if I'm a person that's filled with integrity, if I possess those qualities, I'll attract people because like begets like. So every once in a while, what I do is I run into leaders and they'll say something like this. They'll say, John, I need a person of high energy in my company. Boy, we need some initiative, high energy people in my company. And whenever they say that, I look at them and I say, let me ask you a question. What's the question? Do you have high energy? And do you take initiative? Because if you do, I got good news for you. You'll attract people like that. But can I tell you something? If getting out of bed is a challenge every day, you understand? And you need a nap in the afternoon. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to attract a lot of high energy people. Because high energy people don't look around and say, man, do we need to find somebody that's slow and lazy. If I could just see somebody that's moving, but you can't tell they're moving, that's the kind of person I want to be around. No. Like begets like. Al McGuire, who's now passed away, who was a very successful basketball coach for many, many years at Marquette University, had a statement that I just love. In fact, I like it so well, I put it in your notes. He said, a team should be the extension of the coach's personality. My teams were arrogant and obnoxious. And let me tell you something, he was. And that's what his teams were. In other words, he put himself, who he was, became who the teams were themselves. This is just an absolute fact. It works in your life, and it works also in my life. I was doing a leadership conference, and we were, again, in a question and answer period, and a fellow raised his hand, and I said, what do you want? And he said, I love this leadership stuff you're teaching. And he said, I got a question. He said, he was a young kid again. He said, I've decided I'm going to be a leader, which was nice. Okay. He said, the question I have for you is, who should I start leading? And I looked at him and I said, the first person you should lead is yourself. Yourself. In fact, let me put it this way. If you wouldn't follow yourself, why should anyone else follow you? Now, this goes back to this law of magnetism. What are you and who are you on the inside? Because here's what I want you to say. You're going to attract people just like you. So what I would do as a leader is this. When I defined and understood the 3 or 4 or 5 top qualities of people that I wanted to attract to my organization, I would make sure 2 things. One, that I had those qualities in my life, and if I did not, I would make sure that I began to discipline myself to have those qualities in my life. because who you are is who you attract. That's the way it works. It works that way every time. It works that way in the business community. I have the privilege of being with many companies, organizations, and corporations, and can I tell you, they all have a personality. When I'm out with the Walmart people, these are people that get up early, and these are people that love numbers and figures. If you go to one of their early morning Saturday morning meetings, not during the week, they do theirs on Saturday morning, they get all the stats from all the regions all over the country of how their Walmart stores are doing, and they're up early, and they're beating those numbers, and they're putting them up there, and they're saying, you made it, you didn't make it, you were short this week, and this is how quickly. They love accountability, and they love getting up and doing something just early and making sure that, you know, they're kind of the early bird gets the worm kind of a mindset. Now, that's who Walmart is. That's a culture. And they attract. What kind of people they attract? They attract those kind of people. I go with other companies and they love to study. They just love to learn and grow, and they're kind of, they have a growing personal growth type of a culture and environment in them. And as long as they're growing and as long as they're learning, they know if they can grow themselves, they're growing their company. So they want a lot of meat. They want to keep saying, okay, how can I develop myself? And they're always wanting programs to develop themselves. Now, what I'm saying is every organization has its own personality, but here's what I know. The culture of that organization determines the kind of people that they attract to it. What I have found is that there are some key areas of attraction. In other words, what I want to do is I want to define for you certain areas that the law of magnetism I know works for a fact. For example, number one, your mission. Your mission of your company attracts a certain type of a person. That's an absolute fact. And when you put your mission out, can I tell you what your mission does for your organization? It divides people. It attracts people who are like that and have a desire to have a mission like that, and it repels people who have no desire to be like that, and that is certainly not their goal or mission in life. So when you lay out the mission, you attract certain people and you repel people based upon what your mission is, what you're trying to accomplish. Another area, number two, is priorities. Whatever your priorities are in your organization and whatever the priorities of the leaders happen to have, can I tell you something? That's the kind of priorities that the people are going to have. For example, when I gave the illustration under one of the other laws about the CEO that looked at the people and says, if anybody in my company asks you to do anything wrong, here's my personal phone number, you call me. Do you know what he was doing? The law of magnetism was operating. You know what he was? He was attracting people of integrity. He was attracting people who want to do the right thing. He was attracting people who said, yes, I will call you if somebody asks me to do something wrong. He was going for a high integrity, high character type of person with that kind of statement. It's the law of magnetism. So your mission attracts certain people. Your priorities, and it has much to do with the kind of person you attract. Number three, age. I found that people group together by age to a certain extent. And I've found that you get into certain organizations, they basically age with what the leaders are. And you get into some companies and they just got a bunch of young people that are just kind of going after it as fast as they possibly can. And age has a lot to do with the type of person that you attract to yourself. Number four, your values. Oh my, this is huge. The values that you have are going to do a lot with what kind of a person that you're going to attract to your organization. For example, a high value to me is adding value to people. That's a huge value. That's right at the top for me. If somebody says, John, what do you want to do in life? It's very simple. My life is very simple. I want to add value to you. I want to come alongside of you. I want to write books that add value to you. I want to do lectures and teaching and tapes that will add value to you. I want to add value to you. My greatest goal is to take people to a higher level than they could ever get on their own. That's my desire. What kind of people do I attract? Well, I can tell you what kind of people I attract. People that want to add value to others. I don't attract selfish people. I don't attract people who are kind of basically in it for themselves and taking the journey by themselves and hoping to, at the end, to have just some huge reward that they give only to them. I don't attract selfish type people. Why? Because it's a value. The law of magnetism says you attract basically who you are. Number five, another area I have found is to be very true, is in the area of background. A lot of times we attract people that have the same kind of background. Maybe it's we grew up in the same area, and so therefore we have common roots geographically. Perhaps we had common roots as far as our education, or perhaps the kind of business we're in. But basically we attract people a lot of times based on our background. And then finally, the other indicator of the law of magnetism that it's a key area of attraction is attitude. You attract people based on your attitude. Can I tell you what you've never found? You never found an organization where you've got a great attitude at the top and a poor attitude at the bottom. You don't see that. Attitudes come in. You know what? People with bad attitudes, they don't even want to be around people with good attitude. It's that too much cheery stuff. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of weighs on them after a while. You know, you're just way too happy for me. You know, you're too excited about life. You know. So people with a bad attitude, they're not attracted to people with a good attitude. They don't even want to be around. I love a guy said, well, if you have a great attitude, you'll attract everybody. I said, no, you won't. You'll make some people sick. Felt like you say, I can't stand that person. They're happy, they're enjoying their life, they're going somewhere. Who wants to be happy, enjoy their life, and go somewhere? Could I have another cup of coffee, please? Now, those are areas that if you possess, will bring a sense of magnetism to you, and you'll attract like people. It's just an absolute fact. So look at your organization and ask yourself, who are we? Because by answering the question who you are, what you value, what is your mission statement, what your attitude is, what all that stuff is, and I would encourage you, this is a great exercise for you to do as a group. Once you get, quote, your DNA, your personality as a company or a culture, once you have figured it out, just understand this. You're going to attract a whole bunch of people just like you.